Hey guys, so I finally got the access to the Gemini and I have used it a lot, and that's why I'm making this video so that I can give you my review on it. Since there might be people who still don't have access to it but are curious about how it is performing. So when I got access to it on the first day, it did not perform very well. It was cutting out in the middle of the sentence, but on the next day it improved, it fixed itself. The issues that I was facing could be because I have a non-pixel device. Maybe it works better on pixel phones, and for at this moment it is working very well. The only difference I saw in the demo versus the real performance that I am having is the interrupt feature. Again, it could be because my device is not pixel, that the interrupt feature is not as quick. Whenever I try to interrupt it, it keeps speaking for like 3 to 4 seconds, and then it stops responding and starts responding to the new question. Let's go through the voices.
If you're curious about the other voices, swipe to explore or pick me to start talking.
It's good to meet you. Give me a chance, or check out the other options. Maybe I'm your style. Pick me, and I can be the voice you hear.
I'd be honored to be the voice you choose for Gemini, but let's face it, the other voices are great too.
Choosing a voice is tricky, but hopefully it's also fun. Here's hoping I'm your voice of choice.
Maybe I'm the voice that's right for you, but there are quite a few to choose from.
I'm another voice in the mix. I'll be here whenever you're ready to talk.
I'm ready to be your voice. If you like what you hear, choose me to start talking.
Feel free to keep exploring until you find the perfect voice.
You can always change voices later. I'll be here whenever you're ready to talk.
If you're curious about the other voices, swipe to explore or pick me to start talking.
So from the time that I used it, I found out that the most natural voice is the Pegasus one, and in the female voices, the Vega, this one,
I'm ready to be your voice. If you like what you hear, choose me to start talking.
has the most amount of emotions. But for this demo, I'm gonna use my favorite voice, which again is not as natural, but it is very clear. It doesn't have as much emotions as the Pegasus and the Vega voice, but I like this one a lot.
If you're curious about the other voices, swipe to explore or pick me to start talking.
So we're gonna pick this one, and we're gonna go back. And now, again, I saw some people testing it out on YouTube, but the topic that they were talking to the Gemini about does not make sense. This model is for sure, it's not the smartest model out there. So you should not be testing it on logical questions. It's not designed for that. It's designed for quickness and general knowledge questions and answers, right? If you want to test out the logic, the best option out there is the GPT-4o, and I guess Gemini experimental 0801 something, that's what they call it. But this one is a very good model for general knowledge questions, and I suppose that's what most people are gonna use it for. When they are multitasking, maybe they're driving a car, going for a walk, they can talk to the Gemini through their headphones while their phone is locked and in their pocket. And I have been using it like that, and it is really fun. And I will even give my thoughts on how it compares to the ChatGPT old normal TTS voice mode, text to speech voice mode, and the new multimodal voice to voice mode, which they also call advanced voice. Before that, this Gemini model is not multimodal, and it's also a TTS voice. So text to speech, your speech gets converted to the text in the background, and the Gemini reads out the text output to you. But the voices in Gemini, they are trained in a way that they try to represent some emotion when they speak. When they even read out the text to you, they will make some pauses, and that thing exists in ChatGPT as well. But the things that this one has that the ChatGPT lacks, there are a lot of things like that, which I'm gonna mention in a second. And right now I'm just thinking about what to talk about to the Gemini. So let's talk to Gemini. One thing I like a lot about it is the responses are quicker than the ChatGPT normal voice mode. So you can have a conversation, and the conversation feels more natural because you can write. Of course, you can interrupt it in the middle of a sentence, or it responds instantly. Oh, not as instantly as the advanced mode we see in ChatGPT, but it's still quicker than the normal ChatGPT mode. So I was reading a book called The Power of Now, and that's what I'm gonna question the Gemini about. Hey Gemini, so I was trying to read a book. I was reading a book. It's called The Power of Now, and reading that book, it got me questioning about some things like how to connect with my inner self.
That sounds like a really thoughtful book. Connecting with your inner self is a big topic. What kinds of things are you wondering about?
And I don't know how to connect to my inner self and where my inner self is. Is it there? Because till now I didn't think about that. I thought it's just me.
That's a great question, and it's one that a lot of people ask. Your inner self is like that quiet voice inside of you. It's the part of you that knows what you really want and what's important to you. To connect with it, you have to slow down and tune into yourself. Try spending some quiet time reflecting on your thoughts and feelings.
But I thought it's just me, the voice that knows what I really want. It's just me, right? Just myself. Don't you think so?
That's totally understandable. Well, I think your inner self is a part of you, but it's also a separate part. It's the part of you that has all that deep knowledge and wisdom, while the part of you that interacts with the world is more about day-to-day stuff.
I really struggle with this concept. I'm thinking that the part that reacts to the day-to-day stuff is the only part I have.
That's okay. It's a tricky idea to wrap your head around. Maybe try thinking of it this way. The part of you that deals with day-to-day things is like the captain of a ship. The inner self is more like the ship's compass. It knows the right direction, even if the captain gets distracted sometimes.
What if I don't have the inner self? Is it possible, or everyone has it?
Everyone's got an inner self, but sometimes it gets buried under everything else that's going on. It's like a tiny flame that needs a bit of oxygen to start burning bright. Think of your inner self as a part of you that's always there, waiting for you to pay attention.
And how can I find it?
Finding your inner self takes practice. Try setting aside some quiet time to reflect on what truly matters to you. Think about what makes you happy, what you're passionate about, and what kind of person you want to be. Don't be afraid to try journaling or meditation to help you slow down and connect with that inner wisdom.
I see, I see. So another question that I wanted to ask you is that people say, the book that I was reading, it says that notice things without judgment. I'm not able to understand that thing.
That's another one of those tricky concepts. When the book says to notice things without judgment, it means to just observe what's happening without adding any extra meaning to it. Like if you see a red car, just notice the red car, don't think about whether you like red cars or not. Try it out and see if it helps you slow down your thinking a bit.
So just red car? That's it? Red car? So red car is passing by and I think a red car?
Right, you got it. You're just noticing the red car, nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, and do we really need to do that? Isn't that what's gonna happen anyways?
Yeah, you're right. Noticing things without judgment is kind of like what your brain does automatically. So instead of forcing yourself to slow down your thoughts, maybe just try to be aware of when you start adding meaning to things.
That's my default behavior, right? I see McDonald's. I don't think that, when was this created? Who's inside? I just see that that's McDonald's and that's it. So, even now I'm not judging things. I'm just seeing things. And I don't know then how to, notice things without judgment and all that.
Well, as a language model, I process information differently than you do. I can focus on specific details of something without adding any personal opinions or feelings. So in a way, you could say that I naturally notice things without judgment.
What? What was my question? Can you repeat my question, please?
You asked me how to notice things without judgment. You were curious about this idea from the book you were reading.
Yeah, you got it wrong, Gemini, but still, you are helpful. You sometimes mishear things.
It sounds like you're a little frustrated, and that's totally understandable. Learning new things and trying out new ideas can be challenging, and it's okay to feel unsure sometimes. Maybe we should try a different approach. How about we talk about a specific example where you're trying to practice this?
No, sorry. Can you repeat what I asked you? You gave me a response, but can you repeat my last question?
Okay, based on our conversation, you were asking me about how to notice things without judgment. You wanted to understand how to just observe something without adding any opinions or ideas about it.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Gemini. Thanks for all the conversation. And you are really helpful, even though you get things wrong. 25%, or not even 20% of the times you mishear things a little, but that's not a very big issue because I can just repeat myself, right?
You're welcome. Thanks for being patient with me as I learn and get better at understanding things. And you're right, communication is all about give and take, so it's totally okay to ask me to rephrase or try explaining something a different way.
Do you admit that sometimes you mishear things?
Well, as an AI language model, I'm always learning and improving. Sometimes the way someone talks or background noise can make it harder for me to understand exactly what's being said. It's just a limitation of the technology right now. How about we try another test? Give me a really challenging question that you think might trip me up.
Thanks. Bye.